Let me ask you something. Why is it that you can be completely exhausted, your body heavy, your eyes burning, and yet the moment your head hits the pillow, your brain suddenly wakes up like it just had a cup of coffee? It doesn't make sense, does it? You've worked all day, you're tired, you want sleep, but instead, you're staring at the ceiling. Minutes pass, then an hour, then another. You roll to one side, then the other, adjust the pillow, pull the blanket up, kick it off again, and before you know it, you glance at the clock. 3:17 a.m. Still awake. Now here's the part nobody talks about. It's not just frustrating. It's dangerous. Because when this starts happening night after night, your body doesn't just feel tired. It starts to break down. Your memory slips. Your mood changes. Your blood pressure creeps up. And suddenly, you don't feel like yourself anymore. But here's where it gets really interesting. Most people think this is just part of getting older. They say, well, I guess this is just what happens after 60, after 70. That is not true. Not even close. Because I've worked with patients in their 70s, 80s, even 90s, who sleep deeply, consistently, naturally. So what's the difference? Why do some people sleep like a rock, while others lie awake every single night? Most people don't realize this, but one of the biggest sleep disruptors isn't in your bedroom. It's not your mattress. It's not your stress. It's not even your hormones. It's sitting in your kitchen. And chances are, you're consuming it, or missing it every single night. Now stay with me here, because what I'm about to show you is surprisingly simple. No medications, no complicated routines, no expensive sleep aids, just everyday foods that quietly control how your brain shuts down at night. And here's the shocking part. Some of these foods, the ones that could help you sleep the deepest, are being eaten at the exact wrong time of day, which means instead of helping you, they're working against you. And number 3 on this list, almost nobody gets right. In fact, I'd say 8 out of 10 people are using it in a way that actually makes their sleep worse. We're going to fix that today, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through 6 powerful, natural foods that can help your body do what it was designed to do. Fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up clear, calm, and restored. Not groggy, not foggy, not dragging yourself through the morning, but actually feeling like yourself again. And here's my goal for you tonight. Not next week, not someday, tonight. One small change, one simple adjustment, that could completely shift how you sleep. So before we go any further, I want you to think about this. When was the last time you woke up feeling truly rested? Not just okay, not just good enough, but genuinely refreshed, clear, and energized? If it's been a while, you're not alone, but you're also not stuck. Because what we're about to talk about might be the missing piece your body has been waiting for. And we're starting with something small, something simple, something most people completely overlook. But once you understand what it does inside your body, you'll never look at it the same way again. Let me start with a question that might surprise you. What if the thing keeping you awake at night isn't what you're doing before bed, but what you're not giving your body? Now this might sound too simple, too easy, but I've seen this over and over again. A small nutritional gap creating a big sleep problem. And it often starts with something most people overlook completely. Cherries. Yes, cherries. Stay with me, because this is where it gets interesting. I once had a patient named Harold, 72 years old, retired, quiet life, no major health issues. But sleep? That was his daily battle. He told me, "Doc, I go to bed tired, but my brain just won't shut off." Sound familiar? Every night, same routine. Lie down, close his eyes, wait, and wait, and wait. Then eventually, he'd give up. Walk around the house, turn on the TV, check the clock every few minutes like somehow that would help. Now here's what changed everything. Not a pill, not a sleep machine, not some complicated routine, just one small habit. He started drinking a small glass of tart cherry juice about an hour before bed. That's it. No big expectations. No belief it would magically fix everything. But within 2 weeks, something shifted. He wasn't lying awake for hours anymore. He wasn't waking up at 2 or 3 in the morning. And the biggest change? He told me, I feel like my body knows when it's time to sleep again. That right there is the key. Because sleep isn't something you force. It's something your body signals. And cherries, especially tart cherries, contain something very powerful. Natural melatonin, the same hormone your brain releases to tell your body, we're done for today. But here's the problem. As we get older, your body produces less and less of it, which means even if you're tired, your brain doesn't get the signal. So you lie there, waiting for something that never fully arrives. Now here's where most people get it wrong. They hear fruit before bed and immediately think, that's too much sugar. That's not the issue, not when it's done correctly, because we're not talking about a bowl of ice cream. We're talking about a small, controlled amount, used at the right time. About half a cup of tart cherry juice, or a small handful of cherries, about 1 to 2 hours before bed. That's enough. You don't need more. And this is important, because more is not better here. Too much, and you can actually disrupt your digestion. But just the right amount. It gently nudges your body into sleep mode. No force, no shock to the system, just a quiet signal that it's time to rest. And here's something most people never realize. It's not just about falling asleep faster. It's about staying asleep, because that's where the real recovery happens. That deep, uninterrupted sleep where your brain resets, your body repairs, and your energy gets restored. Now, if cherries aren't your thing, don't worry, because what we're about to talk about next might already be sitting on your kitchen counter. And unlike cherries, this one is more filling, more satisfying, and in some cases, even more powerful for calming your body at night. But there's a catch. Most people eat it at the worst possible time of day. And because of that, they completely miss its sleep benefits. Let's fix that next. Let me ask you something. Have you ever fallen asleep just fine, only to wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning, wide awake? Like someone flipped a switch in your brain? No warning, no reason. Just suddenly, you're up. And now you're staring into the dark, hoping, waiting, begging your body to go back to sleep. But it doesn't. Now here's the part most people miss. That kind of wake-up isn't random. It's a signal. Your body is telling you something is out of balance. And in many cases, it comes down to one simple thing. Minerals your body is quietly running low on. Let me explain. I had a patient named Gloria, 78 years old, sharp mind, active, social, but every single night, same story. I fall asleep just fine, she told me, but at 2 a.m., I'm wide awake, and I can't get back. Now this is where most people go wrong. They assume it's stress, or anxiety, or just aging. But when we looked a little closer, we found something very common. Her magnesium levels were low, and that matters more than you think, because magnesium is one of the most important minerals. For calming your nervous system, it helps your brain slow down. It relaxes your muscles. It tells your body, you're safe, you can rest. Without enough of it, your system stays slightly on. Not enough to notice during the day, but at night, it shows up. Now here's where it gets interesting. Instead of reaching for another supplement, she asked me a simple question. Is there something I can eat instead? And the answer was yes. Something you've probably seen 1,000 times and never thought twice about. A banana. Now I know what you're thinking. That's it. Stay with me, because this is where most people underestimate how powerful simple foods can be. She started eating one banana about an hour before bed. Nothing fancy, no complicated routine, just one small, consistent habit. And within a couple of weeks, things began to change. She still woke up occasionally, but it was different. Her body felt calmer. Her mind wasn't racing. And more importantly, she could fall back asleep. That's a big deal, because waking up isn't always the problem. Staying awake is. So what's actually happening here? Bananas are rich in magnesium, but also potassium. And these two together create a powerful calming effect inside your body. Magnesium relaxes your nervous system. Potassium helps release tension in your muscles. So instead of your body being slightly alert, slightly tight, slightly restless, it shifts into a more relaxed state. The kind of state where sleep can actually happen naturally. Now let's address the concern I hear all the time. But isn't a banana too much sugar before bed? Great question. And here's the truth. A banana does contain natural sugar, but it also contains fiber. And that fiber slows everything down. So instead of a spike, you get a steady release. No crash, no sudden wake up, just stable energy through the night. And if you want to make it even more effective, here's a simple trick. Add a small spoon of almond butter. That healthy fat slows digestion even further and helps keep your blood sugar stable while you sleep, which means fewer middle-of-the-night wake-ups. Now here's where it gets even more important. Because what we've talked about so far, cherries, bananas, they help your body relax. But what if your problem isn't just relaxation? What if your body physically can't stay still, even when you're tired? That restless feeling, that twitching, that uncomfortable urge to move your legs, right when you're about to fall asleep. If you've ever felt that, you know how frustrating it is. And what we're about to talk about next might be one of the most underrated solutions out there. Small, simple, but incredibly powerful when used the right way. Let me ask you something most people don't talk about. Have you ever been just seconds away from falling asleep, and then suddenly your legs start to twitch, or buzz, or feel like they just can't stay still? It's like your body refuses to cooperate right when you need it most. Now here's the frustrating part. You're tired. Your eyes are heavy. Your mind is finally slowing down. And then your body pulls you right back out. Again and again and again. Most people brush this off. They say, maybe I just need to stretch more. Maybe it's just part of aging. But here's where it gets serious. That restless, uncomfortable feeling is often a sign your body is missing something critical. And ignoring it, that can turn into night after night of broken sleep. Let me tell you about Sam, 81 years old, retired math teacher, sharp mind, disciplined, logical. But he came to me with a problem he couldn't solve. Every time I try to sleep, he said, my legs won't stop moving. Not violently, not dramatically, just enough to keep him from ever settling into deep sleep. He tried everything: hot baths, stretching routines, even cutting back on caffeine. Nothing worked until something very simple came up. His daughter, who happens to be a nutritionist, suggested one small change: a handful of almonds before bed. Now Sam laughed, literally laughed. A nut, he said. That's the solution? But he tried it anyway. And this is where it gets interesting. Within a week, the intensity dropped. Within 2 weeks, the twitching became occasional. And after a month, he told me something I hadn't heard from him before. I slept through the night. That's not small. That's life-changing. So what's going on here? Almonds may look simple, but inside your body, they do something very powerful. They're rich in magnesium, which we already talked about, but they also contain something called tryptophan. And this is where it gets fascinating, because tryptophan is one of the key building blocks your body uses to produce serotonin. And serotonin is what eventually converts into melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it's time to sleep. So it's not just one effect. It's a chain reaction. Almonds, serotonin, melatonin, sleep. Now here's where most people get it wrong. They eat almonds, but at the wrong time. Morning snack. Afternoon energy boost. Nothing wrong with that. But if you want the sleep benefits, timing is everything. You want them in the evening, about an hour before bed. Just a small handful. 8 to 10 almonds is enough. You don't need more. And more importantly, you don't want the wrong kind. Skip the salted ones. Salt can dehydrate you. And dehydration, that leads to something you definitely don't want at 3 a.m. waking up thirsty or needing to use the bathroom. Stick with raw or lightly roasted almonds. No seasoning, no sugar. Let them do their job quietly. Now here's something else most people overlook. Sleep isn't just about calming your mind. It's also about calming your body. If your muscles are tense, if your nerves are slightly overstimulated, you'll never fully drop into deep sleep. Almonds help solve both. They relax the physical and support the chemical signals in your brain. That's a powerful combination. But we're just getting started. Because what if you don't want something crunchy? What if late at night, you're craving something warm, something comforting, something that actually helps your body slow down, instead of just filling your stomach? This next one might completely change how you think about nighttime eating, because most people associate it with breakfast, and because of that, they're missing one of the most powerful sleep tools available. Let's talk about that next. Let me challenge something you've believed for years. What if one of the best foods for sleep is something you've only ever eaten in the morning? Sounds strange, right? But stay with me, because this might be the missing piece for a lot of people. Think about this. At night, what do most people reach for? Cookies, crackers, leftovers, maybe nothing at all. And then they wonder why their body feels restless or why their mind won't settle. But what if the problem isn't that you're eating at night, it's what you're eating? Let me tell you about Margaret, 75 years old, the kind of person who keeps everything in order. Her home, spotless. Her routine, consistent. But sleep? That's where everything fell apart. She didn't have trouble staying asleep. She couldn't fall asleep. Every night, same pattern. She'd lie down, close her eyes, and then her thoughts would start racing, one idea after another. Like her brain suddenly decided it was the perfect time to solve every problem in her life. Now she tried everything. Herbal teas, earlier bedtimes, white noise. Nothing stuck. Until one night, she made a small change. Instead of grabbing something dry or sugary, she made a small bowl of oatmeal. Not a full breakfast portion, just a small, warm serving. She added a little cinnamon, a few slices of banana, and sat quietly while she ate it. And here's what she noticed. Her breathing slowed. Her body relaxed. And for the first time in a long time, her mind didn't fight her. She fell asleep naturally. No struggle, no frustration. So what's happening here? Oats are what we call complex carbohydrates. And that matters because they digest slowly, which means they gently raise your blood sugar just enough to trigger the release of serotonin. Now remember this. Serotonin is the calm chemical. It tells your brain you can let go, you can relax. And then, when the timing is right, that serotonin converts into melatonin. And now your body has what it needs to fall asleep. But here's where it gets even more powerful. When you pair oatmeal with something like milk or almond milk, you add calcium into the mix. And calcium actually helps your brain use tryptophan more effectively, which means stronger sleep signals. So now you've got a chain reaction again. Oats, serotonin, melatonin, deeper sleep. Now let's clear up a common mistake. Some people hear this and go too far. Big bowl, too heavy, too late, and then they feel uncomfortable or bloated and sleep gets worse. So here's the rule. Keep it light, small portion. Think of it as a signal, not a meal. And if you want to make it even better, add a few banana slices or even some tart cherries. Now you're stacking benefits. Multiple signals working together to calm your body. Now here's something important. Not everyone wants something sweet at night. Some people prefer savory, something simple, something more like a light dinner than a snack. And if that's you, what we're about to talk about next might be one of the most effective sleep tools on this entire list. It's satisfying, it's simple, and it has a reputation you've probably heard before, but never fully understood. That heavy, sleepy feeling after a big holiday meal, there's a reason for that. And once you understand it, you can use it to your advantage every single night. Let me ask you one last question. Have you ever finished a big meal and suddenly felt so sleepy you could barely keep your eyes open? Most people laugh it off. They call it a food coma. But what if I told you that feeling is something you can actually use to fix your sleep? Now here's where it gets interesting. It's not just the amount of food. It's what's inside it. And one food in particular has been quietly helping people fall asleep for decades. Turkey. Yes, turkey, but not in the way most people use it. Let me explain. There's a compound in turkey called tryptophan, and this is where everything starts to connect. Because tryptophan is what your body uses to produce serotonin and then melatonin. The exact same pathway we've been building throughout this video. But here's the mistake people make. They think more is better, so they eat heavy meals late at night and then wonder why they feel uncomfortable or wake up feeling worse. That's not the goal. The goal is precision. A small portion, light, easy to digest, just enough to give your body the raw materials it needs to start slowing down. About 2 to 3 hours before bed. That's the sweet spot. Not right before you lie down. Give your body time to process it. Now here's what works well. A few slices of roasted turkey breast, maybe wrapped in a piece of whole grain bread, or paired with something light like leafy greens. Nothing heavy, nothing greasy, just simple. Now here's something most people don't realize. Turkey doesn't just help with sleep. It also helps preserve muscle. And as you get older, that becomes critical. So now you're doing two things at once. Supporting your sleep and protecting your strength. That's a win most people overlook. But let's say you don't want to eat at night at all. No food, no snacks. You just want something calming, something quiet, something that tells your body it's time to shut down. This is where one of the most powerful tools comes in, and it's been used for centuries. Chamomile tea. Now don't underestimate this, because what seems simple is often the most effective. I had a patient named Elaine, 83 years old, sharp mind, calm presence, and every evening, she followed the exact same ritual. 1 cup of chamomile tea, no phone, no television, just her, a warm mug, and silence. Now here's what made the difference. It wasn't just the tea, it was the signal. Because chamomile contains a compound that interacts directly with your brain to reduce anxiety and promote calm. But the real power comes from the combination. The warmth, the stillness, the routine. Together, they tell your nervous system something it rarely hears anymore. You're safe. You can rest now. And that changes everything. Now here's something most people overlook. Not all teas are equal. Chamomile is different. It's one of the few that's been consistently associated with mild, natural sedation. No side effects, no dependency, just a gentle shift from alert to calm. So here's how to use it. About 30 to 45 minutes before bed, brew 1 cup. Sit down, slow down, no rushing, no distractions. Let your body feel the moment. Because sleep doesn't just come from what you consume. It comes from the environment you create. Now let's step back for a second, because this isn't just about food. It's about control. Your sleep, your energy, your clarity, your independence. When sleep goes, everything gets harder. Your patience, your memory, your mood, even your confidence. But here's the truth. You are not stuck. You are not broken. And you are not out of options. Your body still knows how to sleep. It just needs the right signals. And today you now have them. Cherries, bananas, almonds, oatmeal, turkey, chamomile tea. Simple, accessible, powerful. You don't need to do everything at once. Start small. Maybe tonight you try one, just one, and see how your body responds. Because change doesn't happen overnight, but it does start with one decision. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these are you going to try first? And more importantly, when was the last time you truly felt rested? Leave a comment below. Your experience might help someone else who's struggling tonight. And if this gave you even one insight, one idea, one moment of hope, make sure you subscribe. Because there's more coming, and it might be exactly what your body needs next. Sleep isn't gone, it's waiting. And tonight, you just might find your way back to it.